Somebody define war for me.
War is a violent conflict between two or more parties.
Okay, Riggs.
Would you say be a war with the pigs come back home?
So when I take this stuff further to say that every ghetto across the nation should be considered occupied territory.
Wow. Well, how about politics? How would you define politics, Brother Willis?
Elections.
Elections can't be politics.
Okay,
But we in the
Riggs.
party and started Chairman Miles' definition of politics. He said, war is politics with bloodshed, and politics is war without bloodshed.
War is politics with bloodshed. Politics is war without bloodshed.
Well, the truth is, niggas in the street got to get together all over the nation. I'm talking, we got to get together in Chicago, we got to get together in LA, we got to get together in Houston, we got to get together in New York, we got to get together in Detroit. Niggas got to get together all over this nation. I'm talking about not the regular people in the street. I'm talking about street niggas. I'm talking about niggas that call themselves gangsters. Real gangsters go to the polls.
Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race.
Hello, everybody. My name is William Guster, Plus Gus, and welcome to Plus TV. Now, we may have a few technical difficulties, but I'm a technically difficult person. Y'all know me already. But yeah, the idea of the National Plus Coalition is to unite the leaders of various, not just ours, but various organizations and structure them under the Plus umbrella. The Plus Coalition is multifaceted and provide a platform for all individuals seeking to promote social welfare, be it through activism, education, or simple philanthropy. The Plus Coalition utilizes its resources to assist those who are trying to and making a change for the betterment of the people. The Plus Coalition seeks justice and equality for all of mankind and will assist all activists unflinchingly until fulfillment or manifestation. The purpose of this show is to educate, promote, and recruit and connect. This show will be an outlet to those that have a willing heart and hands, but no megaphones. And I know you guys may be wondering, what is this Gus guy going on? And what's the National Plus Coalition? And what Gus is a part of now, what he's trying to get us to hear. Well, y'all know if I'm trying to get y'all to hear something that's worth hearing. But the National Plus Coalition come from a vision of a person that carry activism right near their heart. And before we get into the vision, because that's what the basis of most of my shows will be about, and this coalition, I want to kind of let you all guys get a good view of the visionary. So before I bring him in, I want my producer to roll the video for me. You waiting on the video? It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. All right, well, the video gonna be here, but I can tell y'all this. In the summer of 1984, July 31st to be exact, it was a Tuesday. The Cubs was playing Philadelphia. It was over 30,000 people watching the game. Chicago lost their baseball game that day, but they gained a valuable citizen, because on that day, our visionary was born in Chicago, Illinois. Particularly, he grew up on the west side of Chicago, And later on in his life, he moved to Mississippi. And that's what we're going to get into when I bring him on. Is the video ready? Do we have the video? Do we not have the video? Okay, well, it looked like we don't have the video. But I would like to go ahead with the show. And if the video is ready later, y'all cue me in backstage. Y'all let me know if the video ready because I want my viewers to see the video. So right now, without further ado, I want to bring on our visionary, Brother Kennesaw. Where you at, brother? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
Access to the multitude. How you doing? How everybody doing?
It's good to have you tonight, brother. How you doing? How you doing tonight?
Man, I can't complain, man. By the grace of the Creator, man, I'm surviving. I'm making it. I'm dwelling another day of the living. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. Now, before we get into your great vision to the National Plus Coalition, before we start breaking this thing down, before we get to them, I want my viewers and I want everybody watching this. I want them to get to know you, who you were from the beginning, in the middle, and where you are now. You feel me, big dog? So I kind of want you to ask you about from the time you was a small child. You was born, as I understand, in Chicago, Illinois, in the summer of 1984, and you got 8 other siblings. Tell me something about your early childhood, like your earliest childhood growing up. What was Chicago like as a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old in the 1980s?
Man, my childhood was just like any other childhood. You know, basically just trying to live. You know, but on the west side of Chicago. You know, it was a lot of poverty. You know, it was a lot of. But my family, we came from a very, I ain't gonna say very well off, but we wasn't really just wanting for nothing. I didn't come from a family that was really just doing without. You know, my father, he worked. He was like the head electrician at Amtrak, and he was making good bread. So my mom, she really didn't have to work. You know, so that's just how it went right there. You know, but just in my area,
and you are
and stuff, sir.
But yeah, and you all live as middle class citizens with 9 siblings of one income. How did y'all make it like that?
No. See, the 9 siblings. That's my biological family. I was adopted. I was adopted as a child. Me and really all of us. All of my family, we were adopted, but it was me, my little sister Janet, and my older brother Ricky. We had hold on a second. Hold on one second now.
Okay.
Yeah, excuse me, y'all. But yeah, we was adopted. We was adopted by the Brown family, and that's the family that I was talking about that was well off. You know, so we was adopted to a family that already had 2 children. So I got 2 older sisters by adoption, you know, and it was 3 of us that were adopted into the family. But my older brother, he was, for some reason, they end up sending him back to foster care, to the group home. So he kind of like grew up in the group home his whole life.
Okay, so you basically didn't grow up around all 8 of your siblings.
No, I grew up around 1.
And for the most part, you did have a normal childhood.
Janet, my her sister Janet. But all the rest of them, I just really just met them within the past like 5 years. You know, just really just getting to know them now since I've been down. And one of them even passed away. One of them was killed last year in Parchment. He was like the second one to get killed in all of the uprising that happened on. Yeah, he was the second one to get killed.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that. So, did you have any knowledge of your mother as a child, as a small child in grade school?
I did, right? But it was I had no real knowledge of her. I knew nothing of her, you know, but I always wanted to know. But the thing was, I didn't know nothing, you know, of my whole history or none of that, you know. I didn't even know that I was adopted till like 5th grade, man. My 5th grade teacher, she had messed around and told me, she had asked me, you know, for so many years, you know, when we come to class, they used to ask me, like, who is Veda Brown? And I'd be like, that's my mom. They be like, well, who is Pearl Gray? I was like, I don't know. And that used to go on, you know, as a child every year. Then I went to school, and it was just this one time where I was like, when they asked me, like, who is Veda Brown? Like, that my mama. They said, well, who is Pearl Gray? And I was like, I don't know. Who is she? And my 5th grade teacher, she told me, she was like, Veda Brown is not your mom. That's your guardian. Pearl Gray is your mother. And I was like, nah. You know, and she was like, no, you adopted. And she started breaking down what adoption was. And I was like, what? You know, and as a child in 5th grade, that really kind of threw me for a loop, you know what I'm saying? Because at that time, I didn't know that I was adopted, you know, so even knowing what it was. So, yeah, that really threw me for a loop. That was like when I really just, you know, started flipping out.
Okay, and did you how did you take this back to your parents at home? How did you take this back to Mr. and Mrs. Brown? The information with your teacher, you know, gave you at school.
Man, hey, when I took it back, I went back home. I went back home. I was like, Mama, Miss Butler said you ain't my mama. And she just flipped out. She was like, I'm the only mother that you got. I'm the only mother that cared for you. And, you know, a whole lot of different other stuff that I care not to say, you know, but she spoke real firm about her being the only one, you know, and that kind of fight a lot. You know, back in the days when you were a child, you know, you ain't trying to hear nobody talk about your mom. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, as people talking about your mom, you know, that was taking me somewhere, even though I didn't know her. Even though I didn't know my mother, you know, it still threw me for a loop. You feel what I'm saying?
And I'm asking this question for my viewers because I know they probably be wondering now. Maybe even like was there ever, and once did your mother, Miss Brown, ever confront that teacher for telling you that information?
Man, Mom's almost went to jail that day. She came back up there. Man. I'm talking about they had to call the police. I'll never forget, you know. And at that time, I ain't understand what was going on, you know. I think I can't remember what they did to the teacher. They didn't fire her or nothing like that. But I just know, only thing I can remember is, you know, my mom, they had to call the police to get up out of there because she really wanted to fight that woman. And but I just know that that's when my life started changing. My life really started changing right then. You know, I really became, that's like when my thuggish days started coming about.
Okay. Well, it's 16 minutes past the hour right now. We got a lot going on in the Plus Coalition. And I wanted to just stop for 1 second, if it's okay, to take a little break to let y'all know that every other week, Plus Production we have nightly shows. Last night we had the LO Behind Bars featuring Sarah, Maria, and Nicole. And on that show, I like watching it. Is these three ladies on here? They kind of inspirational, and you can learn a lot from them too. And what they discussing is that the injustices and the differences, and the main one, the hot topic was that of the Mississippi Department of Correction. Y'all should check them out on Monday nights. On Tuesday nights, you right here with your boy Gus on Plus TV. Me and my comrade RJ Miller. He's not on tonight, but y'all saw him in Wednesday night. We got live and straight out of Parchment with Sarah, Sean, and KO. Y'all check them out tomorrow. That's tomorrow night. Friday night, we got Plus News with Jay, Renee, and Lynn. And they alternate. That's every Friday. That's not every other Friday. And this Friday, they're going to have Jay Renee. Jay Renee going to be on there giving us the news this Friday. Now, next week, Wednesday, Bro 2 from Oklahoma, Toucan Sam from Mississippi, Prince Akili X from California, Brother Bernard from Alabama, and the Anonymous 2 from Georgia and Florida. Man, y'all check them out. They got a whole panel like that. These guys from different states, they're incarcerated in different states, and they on this panel with my sister Brooke. Man, y'all check them out. Okay, now I want to get back to my interview with the visionary of the National Plus Coalition. And we was discussing his childhood from the time he was born up and basically into the 5th grade, which was a big turning point in his life. He knew that he was adopted. He had never knew that. And now I kind of want to basically delve into your life at home. And I kind of want to start with religion, because I know a lot of black people, especially in Chicago, a lot of them are kind of like, it's from Mississippi, and it's Chicago and Detroit. There's like gospel city. So if you can tell me something about your religious affiliation, like your denomination, if you're Christian.
I was raised in a Baptist home, and man, when I tell you, that's what my family did, man. I'm talking about, it was mandatory. Ain't no such thing as you're not gonna go to church or whatever. You know, we was going to church. We was in church. We was in church every Saturday, every Sunday. We was in church all day Sunday. You know, all day Sunday. Oh man, we going to Bible study. Then my father, that's where he used to. That was a side job where he used to go clean up the church. So I had a real strong upbringing in the church. So and I was always a leader as well. So me and a few of my friends, we had started what we called the Junior Usher Board. We started the Junior Deacon Board. We had a lot of different things going on, you know. But as I end up coming to prison, you know, my religious affiliation began to change. You know, whereas I became Muslim. I became Muslim in 2002. You know, so you know, I ain't one of them real religious type. You know, I ain't gonna just say I'm very religious or nothing like that. But I'm one of the ones that, you know, I believe in what I believe. I'm gonna just say it like that. They kind of answer your question. Huh, bro?
It looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Gus, are you back? You're on mute, Gus. Unmute yourself.
All right. I'm back. I told my audience before the show started that we may have some technical difficulties because I'm a technically difficult person.
Hey, Gus,
So
we also
y'all
have the
still rock
video
with me.
ready.
Okay, now I was before I was cut off. Okay, we'll
I
bring
was
it up
saying
in
we
a
have the
second.
video ready if you want to see that.
Before we'll in a moment. Before I was cut off, I was asking you about your hobbies as a child. Any hobbies you want to share with us?
Yeah, I used to draw. I used to really like drawing. I was able to draw basically any cartoon that set, that I looked at. I never got to the point where I was able to draw portraits, but as the more I drew, the older I got, the better my talent had became. But I end up, it take a lot of patience to draw. But the older I got, I started losing patience. I played ball a little bit too.
Okay, and
hello.
How did you get into basketball? Was it a community thing or? Yeah.
With basketball,
You can hear me?
I had yeah, I hear you, bro. I had a best friend that I used to hang out with. I really liked this guy, man.
Okay.
He was like the ladies' man. He was like the most popular dude in school. He was my best friend, and I used to always go wherever he went. And all of the games, I used to go to the practices with him. And I used to just watch him. I used to watch him dribbling. He had handles. I used to watch him real tough. We was in 7th grade and 8th grade together. So by the time I made it to 9th grade, I had never played basketball through that little time right there. So by the time I made it to 9th grade, I was at high school at Austin, and I was out there just playing. We was having gym, and I was playing ball, just really just messing around and doing stuff that I had some hustle. You know what I'm saying? Dude, the gym teacher felt that I had some hustle, so he had talked to me. He was like, "Man, would you mind playing ball? You want to come to practice?" I was like, "All right." So I came to practice, and dude ended up putting me on the varsity team. And when I put the ball in my hand, I used to just just mimic the moves that I used to watch my best friend doing, and I was good at it. You know what I'm saying? But just actual practicing, I never really just practiced. It just came from me just watching my best friend, and just when the ball got in my hand, I just made it do what to do.
That's what's up. Now it's real. The irony there is really, I don't know. I don't want to use, because that almost, up until from the time you was born up until where you were, that almost kind of seemed like my life. You know what I'm saying? I never could draw because I was ambidextrous, and I used to have issues because sometimes my dominant hand would change. So drawing was never my thing. Neither was basketball. And it was mainly because, my dominant hand would change. But my thing was we had to go to school, and we went to church. We was in church. We was in the choir. We went to Sunday school, Bible study, youth congress, missionary society, senior choir practice. I mean, I was even at church on Women's Day. You feel me? And it's kind of like your story resonate with, almost mirrors my life story. You know what I'm saying? From the time I was a toddler up until I was about 15 or 16. And I also grew up in the Baptist church, Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church, Greenville, Mississippi. Shout out to my church. All right, I almost said amen right there because I'm a real Mississippi church boy. So yeah, like, so were there any, like, what I'm saying, traumatic experiences, like experiences of grief? Like, was there any loss of loved ones, anything that?
Well, I had, my grandfather died, but I was really just too young to really just understand that. But my first actual death that was kind of close to me was my best friend, another one of my best friends from the hood. He had an overdose. He had an overdose on heroin, and it happened right in front of me. And we was kids. We about 13 years old, about 12, 13 years old. And he was like 14, he might be like a year older than me. And we used to get high in this car. We had one of our partners. She used to let us use our car, so we used to go in our car and just smoke weed and just fall asleep. Just like we basically lived in this woman's car. And we just went to sleep one night, and it was about 3, 4 of us. And I woke up, and he was there. I'm talking about slobbing out the mouth or whatever, But I ain't think he was dead. I ain't think he was dead, But so me and my partners, we just left. We just left him there. We tried to wake him up. He wouldn't wake up. But like I say, we didn't think that he was dead. We just thought we just got real high last night. You know what I'm saying? That was on our mind. But we found out later on that day that, he had overdosed. He had died.
So you guys in Chicago, and you said you was about 13 or 14. So
right,
you guys had access to those type of drugs at that age? And you did live in a 2-parent home.
Right. Man,
stable middle class.
It's the hood, man. I'm talking about.
So,
man.
Yeah, tell us about it. And this the 90s, right? And this also the 90s, right?
Say it again. Say it again, bro.
I say, and not only this Chicago and the hood, I say not only is this Chicago and the hood, this is also the 1990s post-crime bill. Am I right?
Hell yeah, man, hell yeah. So you got no bed well. So we at the, man, at that time, I'm full-fledged selling dope. I'm full-fledged gangbanging. That was my everyday. That was my thing. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, them type of drugs wasn't nothing for us to be around. The guys that we looked up to was the big homies in the hood. So by that time I had left the crib. I wasn't even, man. Like I said, we basically was living in an old girl car. When I found out about my adoption, man, it really was over with, man. As far as on some being a good boy, church boy, it was a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the streets, and that was like 10, 11 years old, So, yeah, that's how that went right there. So even when he died, honestly, and they told me that he overdosed, and me and my guys, we really just shook our head and just kept going, That's the type of mentality. That's where we come from. I think.
All right, what is it? Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, it's 32 minutes past the hour, and it's 30 minutes to hour going on, and we got to eat. And if I still got Sister Brooke backstage, I want to bring her on and so my viewers can You there, Brooke? Is Brooke Maria backstage?
Hello, guys. How are you guys tonight?
I see
Can
you,
you hear
Brooke.
me?
Yeah, yeah. What's up, man? How you doing?
Are you with us, Brooke?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Are you with us, Brooke?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you. How you doing? Welcome to the show, Brooke. Welcome to the show.
Yes. So I think you wanted me just
Yeah,
to give
I
some
can hear you well.
information
I can
about
hear you
our
well.
event. Okay.
I was letting my audience know about the new Jim Crow event, the virtual event. The first something I want to give them is the date. Tell them the date and the dates and the times of this event and the schedule and where they can find this event at before we get into the details of what the event actually is.
Okay, so it's going to be all virtual from September 13th through September 17th. So it's Monday through Friday that week. And it will be live on the National Plus Coalition page. And we are also working on having it on Eventbrite.
All right, all right. And could you give us a little, just give my audience a little insight on what we will be discussing and what will be going on at this virtual.
Yes, so the event is about the new Jim Crow. We will be discussing issues, policies, and
Are you still there,
legislations
Brooke? You still with me,
that,
Brooke?
yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you
I
well.
don't, okay, you can hear me. So it's about the new Jim Crow. It's about policies and legislation that causes racial and economic disparities and is one of the causes for the mass incarceration within the United States. So we will be the one, I mean, so the event will be talking about those issues, but we are also combining it with a call to action also. There'll be more information given out, shortly in regards to the call to action. But right now we are asking other organizations that is interested in collaborating on this event to reach out to us at the National Plus Coalition.
All right, and would you like to just enlighten my audience, just basically tell them something about the issues of mass incarceration, not only in Mississippi but in this country, and specifically Mississippi. If you have, what I'm saying, you may opine on it if you want to. Just I kind of want to give my audience, like, I want to educate them on some of the issues with mass incarceration. So could you just give them a little sprinkle of it, the issues of mass
Yeah.
incarceration and possibly what the origins of it, of the issues.
Well, honestly, it starts in your youth. It starts with the school to prison pipeline. Children are not properly educated, especially, I want to say, here in Mississippi. The schools do not provide an adequate education. They're not adequately prepared with dealing with kids that might have, mental issues, psychological issues, or a bad home life. And that's just not in Mississippi, that's across the country. Also, with things like ADHD, they just want to medicate and they're not coming up with good solutions. So, what's happening is they kick these kids out of school and the kids then start getting in trouble. That leads to a lot of times, youthful offenders, these youthful offender laws. Then you got the habitual offender laws. You got the extreme sentencing for, non-violent drug offenses. I could go on all day for that, but that's just a little bit of what new Jim
Mhm.
Crow is. And then also when it, also dealing with
Yeah.
poverty, a lot of it comes from the low class and people that don't have, a lot of means to survive. They do things literally to feed their children, and basically just to survive life. and they end up in prison for it.
I couldn't agree with that commentary more, especially the school of pipeline. There and before this this little commercial go off, I just want to allude to some. It was some educational research. They say if the research proved that if your child isn't reading on grade level by the third grade, the likelihood for them dropping out of school or not getting a high school diploma is likelihood of you going to prison if you don't complete high school. So it's almost that's how they can determine how many prisons they're going to need in 20 years by how many people fail the third grade. But I got to get back to my interview. It's nice talking with you. I know this is going to be a great event. I can't wait. Give us those dates again.
September 13th through September 17th.
September 13th through 17th. That's the new Jim Crow virtual event, National Plus Coalition. All right. Thank you, Brooke. It was good having you. All right, now I'm back. I'm back with the visionary of the National Plus Coalition, Brother Ken Assad. Brother Ken Assad is a native of Chicago, Illinois. He's now in custody of the Mississippi Department of Corrections, and he have a story to tell. And we are here to get it tonight. This is the visionary of this podcast that you see me on right now. And this vision is much bigger than himself and myself and his TV show. And I want you guys to get to know him. And so when y'all start watching my shows, y'all know the visionary and the vision from which these shows come from. So we back with Brother Kent Assad. Now let me get back to what I. We back. We live. You hear Brother Kent?
Yeah, I'm here, bro. I'm here.
All right. Yeah. Before we went on break, we were basically discussing, you know what I'm saying, how your life was in Chicago. You know what I'm saying, and basically the hood. You know, it's kind of the obvious. You know, and I see your life was just as normal as any other. You know what I'm saying. The majority of the other kids in Chicago, you had your, you know what I'm saying, your ups and downs. But now, the last time basically we was talking about was your friend who was 12 to 13 years old, and how skilled you was in basketball. Now, at this point, you in Mississippi. How and when did you end up in Mississippi? Tell us how you got to the South.
Well, man, I'm gonna keep it all. I don't tell too many people too much of nothing, man. Honestly, man. But the way I got it was I had started hustling. I started selling dope up there for one of the wrong guys. Because I had been hustling, but I had started selling dope for one of the wrong guys. And they gave me a whole lot of work, bro. And when they gave me that work, I didn't even get a chance to count it because I got jumped that same day. So when I got jumped, they took everything. They robbed me, they took everything from me. So first thing go to my head, just don't go back to the hood no more. Just don't go back to that hood. So about 3 months went by. About 3 months go by, and I was standing on the bus stop with a couple of my guys, and the dudes who I owed them, they had drove by. They pulled by, and they seen me. So when they seen me, I took off running, and they ended up catching me. When they caught me, they threw me in a car and everything, took me somewhere. Long story short, had me selling dope for 2-3 days or whatever. They kidnapped me, did what they did for about 2-3 days until I got a chance to get away. All right, when I got away, my mom and them was like, man, we got to do something. We can't stay up here. You know, the way she found out that I had got kidnapped was through my girlfriend at the time. She went home and she told them, she was like, they got him. And, you know, so by the time I made it back home, Mom was like, man, we just got to go. We got to go. So we ended up moving to Mississippi. At that time, I was on probation too. I was on probation for another charge. So we moved to Mississippi, and I was in pursuit of joining the military, trying to get my record and everything expunged. You know, I had a real messed up record. I had to cop out. I had to plead guilty to a whole lot of stuff to get. Well, I had to plead guilty to one thing to get rid of a whole lot of things. So it's like I chose to join the military. I chose to join the military to kind of clean up my record. Even though I was a child, I was still a kid at the time. You know, the recruiter, he was gonna clean things up and he was gonna place me where he was gonna make some boss moves for me in the military. So that's how I ended up moving to Mississippi. But so when I came to Mississippi, I got in this train the game program in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and it just didn't go right, man. That time, you know, I still was gang banging. I still was in the streets real hard, so it didn't go right, you know. And that's basically how I got to Mississippi right there. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get running from Chicago with the case and everything, coming to Mississippi. You know, trying to do right. I was always trying. You know, once I got to about 14, I really was trying to do right. I was trying to do right. But it was like my past just kept hunting me. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And so, like, after you arrived to Mississippi, I on a personal level, what was it like culturally? Like the difference? Can you explain to my viewers like the difference? Like you coming from Chicago to Mississippi, like the vibe, you know what I'm saying? Tell us what that, like, were there any social anxieties? What was it like for you?
Where I'm from, you know, it's just straight black people, straight hood. You feel what I'm saying? Ain't no white people. You never see no white people in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where I'm from. Only time you're gonna see a white person, they might have been teaching school, or they was coming to buy some dope, or they was finna come lock our ass up. One of them three exceptions. That's the only time you're gonna see somebody, you know, that's non-black in my neighborhood. So you know, we used to travel back and forth from Mississippi. I mean, from Chicago to Mississippi. We used to spend the summers in Mississippi. But, you know, it wasn't, you know, when we come down for the summertime, we really at grandma's house, at my dad's house, you know, family reunion or something like that. So we never really just was out socializing. But my mom used to always tell me, she used to always look at things differently and tell me to straighten up certain kind of ways because the white folks gonna kill you down there in Mississippi. That what she used to always say, you know what I'm saying? You can't go down there walking that like that.
Yeah.
You gotta straighten your head up. Them white folks ain't going for that down there in Mississippi. You can't talk to the white man down there like, and I'm like, man, what the hell? So it kind of had me, you know, but like I said, I ain't know nothing about no white people. I've never grew up around white people at all. So I ain't been around no white people until I'm 14 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of a hell of a transition. And on some real, bro, they was slick races where I moved to in the Franklin County area, you know, Roxy, Mississippi, all up through there.
Roxy, Meadville, yeah.
Yeah, they slick races down through there, man. They ain't, you know, they them white folks ain't friendly down there.
No.
You know, so,
and that's the country. That whole county is rural.
Yeah. For real, man. So it was a hell of a transition. Let me just say it like that.
Okay. Well, I want to pause right quick because, like I've been saying all night, we got a lot going on in the National Plus Coalition, the Plus Production, the Plus TV, and the Plus Party. And last night, y'all probably missed it. The LO, the Loved Ones Behind Bars with Sarah and Maria Nicole. Tonight, you got your boy Gus and Plus TV with our visionary and our founder, Brother Ken Assad. Tomorrow, You're gonna have live and straight out of Parchment with Sarah, Sean, and KO. It's gonna be on the National Plus Coalition page. Look us up on Facebook. It's gonna be streaming live tomorrow on that page and on StreamYard and on YouTube. Check us out, the National Plus Coalition, live and straight out of Parchment. One of the most informative shows on TV is streaming live right now. Y'all got to catch it tomorrow. And Friday, this coming Friday, we got Plus News featuring your girl, Jay Renee. Don't miss it. All this gonna be on the National Plus Coalition page on Facebook and on YouTube, and it's going to be streamed on StreamYard. And act like y'all didn't hear me. Act like y'all didn't hear that. I'm going to see y'all there. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow live and straight out of Parchment. I'm going to be watching too. And I'm back with Kent Assad, our visionary for the National Plus Coalition and this TV show and this podcast. Yeah, your boy Gus is live with the visionary tonight, and we was from people, and he came from Cook County, Illinois, to Franklin County, Mississippi. And if you know those two counties, you don't even have. I don't have to explain to you what our conversation was just like about. From Cook to Franklin County. That's a story. Hey, that's a story. Okay, now. I don't want to violate none of your Fifth Amendment rights, my brother. So I don't want to get into details on why you're in prison or what you're in prison for or what even your charges are. Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here, bro. I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to get into why you're in prison because that's public record. If anybody want to know that, they can go find it themselves. But I do want to get into some of your experience in prison because I'm assuming that this flame for activism came from your experience in prison. So, what year was it? What year was it that you arrived into the Mississippi Department of Corrections?
2001. Well, I landed inside the Mississippi Department of Corrections in 2002. Green County, to be exact.
2002. And where did you? Green County, the bottom of the barrel. The bottom of the barrel, Green County. And how old were you in 2002? You about 18, 17, 18 maybe?
Something like that.
So you're basically a young man. And so what was it like from, you know what I'm saying, basically being independent on the street and, you know what I'm saying, moving from Chicago to Mississippi, and now you are in prison. What was it, just the entry experience like coming to prison, your first time in prison, coming on the zone, seeing those guys, your first meal plate? Tell us what
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody, I heard a lot of people speak and say that they wasn't afraid, they wasn't scared. I was scared, but I was one of the ones that was scared and gonna hold up rather than being scared and fold up, So, man, I stepped in hard, bro. I'm talking about I stepped in hard, and seen a whole lot, been through a whole lot throughout these years. I've been through a whole lot.
Yeah, I'm kind of in tune with like how, especially MDOC, how things, especially the politics of prison. If you can see at the bottom of this banner say when hood and politics combine, but actually prison itself have its own rules and its own politics. Can you agree with me on it?
Most definitely.
Prison have its own sense of politics, and sometimes prison politics can confine you. Prison problems can confine you it can find you blind, you could be totally unaware, and it can totally not have nothing to do with you. And I want to know, did you have any experience like that? Like, did you catch any heat or any hell, any, negative or bad experience of something that you didn't start, like inadvertently,
Yeah, man. It was a situation that happened where basically what I'm going through right now, where I end up assaulting a few officers. You know, basically trying to save one of the guys that one of the guys that was in the organization with me. And you know, I ended up catching some time behind it. They gave me 8 years. They gave me 8 years for the assault, you know, and I did like a year. I did like 15 months locked down because of the incident. And when I got out the hole because of what I did, you know, I ended up getting stabbed about it. That's part of the politics, you know. That was one of the first time. That was the first time that I got stabbed right there. Well, ain't the first time that I got stabbed, but I'm gonna say that's like one of the first incidents where, you know, I became like what they call the business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, I got hit by I think it was 6 times. Got hit by 6 times, man. They cracked my skull. They broke my ribs. You know, it was a real serious incident.
So with being injured like that, cracked skull and broken ribs and multiple stab wounds and things like that, you had to seek health care, right? So was there adequate health care available for you?
Honestly, the way that went down, you know, after it happened, I just went to my cell. And I was beat up so bad. The guys that beat me up went and got me some medical help. That's how bad I was.
Yeah.
I was beat up.
And see that's another one of them things that people that wouldn't really understand the politics of prisons and the rules of prison. When Kevin Gates say penitentiary rules in effect, everybody, you know what I'm saying, jam and throw their hands up, but they don't really know what that means because they don't know what the penitentiary rules really are. They don't understand. They couldn't have you over there, you know what I'm saying, dying on their zone when they know they done harmed you. You know what I'm saying? So like, I know a lot of people wouldn't understand and maybe even sound, you know, crazy and unfounded to them, but that's and I mean, I know you probably live your life there at a time, and it's not you don't worry about it. But I'm really sorry you had to go through all that. But like, I do kind of want to talk about the medical attention that you received as a result of this. Was it inside the prison where you were able to go out and
No,
get professional
I had to go
help
to,
out? You know what I'm saying, outside the prison.
Hospital. Yeah, I had to go to the ER. And I sat in ICU. I sat in ICU for about 25 days.
You was in ICU for 25 days.
Yeah.
Now, so you went after the incident. You went back in your cell without no medical attention, without nothing. But when you got to where to the hospital, they felt the need to keep you in ICU for 25 days. You was pretty messed up, brother. Do you remember how you was transported to the hospital?
I ain't recognized myself, bro. I ain't recognized myself when I looked in the mirror for about 2 weeks, bro. I was down bad. I ain't gonna lie. But you know, it's the thing about pride. Ain't nobody trying to catch out. I ain't never been the type to run from nothing. So you know, that was the only way they were gonna get me up off the zone. Was like that, or in a body bag. One or two.
Just then you said you didn't want to catch out or nothing. Can you explain to my audience the best way you can in your own words? Catching out. Explain to them what they mean.
Catching out is basically running.
And don't scare them. Don't scare my viewers.
It's basically you running. You done did something to you scared. You leaving because you done did something you ain't had no business doing, basically. That's what catching out is. In some other states they might call it what they call it catching out. I mean, catching out is catching out. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't trying to catch out. So that's what happened.
So would it be your experiences inside the prison after being incarcerated that lit that activist flame in you for reform
Yeah.
and equality and the importance of knowing the law and educating our people? Would you say that that your prison experience was the climax of that? Because I'm sure a lot of the factors in your past alluded to that, but would you say that your experiences in prison is what basically changed you from?
Um,
You still with me,
well, I'm
brother?
gonna basically say, yeah, I'm gonna basically say that if it wasn't for prison, I wouldn't be who I am today. I'd probably be dead, you know. And if it wasn't for the things that I went through in prison, I wouldn't be who I am today, you know. So it's like for those that have seen me transition from just being that young gangbanger that came in with those 2 sentences and, you know, did what he did or whatever. And I transitioned. Those they seen me transition. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the reason why I did the transition the way I did the transition is because how I'm knowing how I'm knowing that there's a lot of guys out there that's like me. You feel what I'm saying? The way I grew up, I grew up
Mm-hmm.
Vice Lord. That's where I grew up. And couldn't nobody tell me nothing but Vice Lord. I would have went against my mama for Vice Lord. I would have went against my daddy for Vice Lord. I would have went against the preacher, the church, the school,
Mm-hmm.
the president, whatever, for Vice Lord. And Vice Lord never really just led me right. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, so my point
Mm-hmm.
is, I'm not saying that it led me wrong either. I'm not gonna say that. I want to clean that up. I'm not gonna say that it led me wrong, but I'm gonna say that as I started going wrong, it never corrected me. You see? So I'm knowing that if I was like that, it was a whole lot of other guys out there that's just like that. That's claiming to be Vice Lord, Genie, Blood, Crip, or whatever. So it led me to become a voice and a leader for those that's rocking just like I'm rocking. I wish I did have some of them old school brothers, them elders and stuff from the city to raise me right, to tell me, man, put that dope down, go your ass to school, or stop gang banging like that. This ain't no gang. Stop twisting your fingers up like this. Now they didn't teach me that type of stuff. So now
Mm-hmm.
that's what I see. That's what I end up becoming, a better dude, because I'm knowing there's a lot of righteous youngsters out there that's trying to do right and just need some guidance. That's for real. They just need some guidance. So I transition, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I transition. And by the grace of the Creator, you know what I'm saying? I'll be touching base out there, man. Hey, that's just,
Creation of the National Plus Coalition, and plus tell my audience the inspiration you got for Plus and what Plus actually means.
uh, plus the plus is basically, you go to the concept of plus, positive leaders united in solidarity. All right. But as I tell many other members, and this is that was a very important question, or this is a very important answer, however we want to choose to look at it, but plus is more than an organization. Plus is more than a coalition. Plus is a mentality that every righteous activist or every righteous advocate or revolutionary says that he is. If you call yourself an activist, but you are not a positive leader and seeks to unite with other positive leaders in solidarity, then it's something wrong with you. Same thing for any revolutionary. Anybody, any righteous standing man, you feel what I'm saying? So, plus it's a mentality. It's many organizations out there that are plus and don't even know it. It's many other organizations out there that are plus and haven't even come to the reality, haven't came to the understanding that that's what it is. You feel me? But the whole thing, the whole point is starting with those that have influence. And basically the steps in which I break it down is it starts with the man in the mirror. And then it goes to the men that's in the house with you. Then it goes to the men that's in the community with you. And so on and so forth. I'm not finna leave my bedroom looking in my mirror and completely just jump out there in the hood and get to telling people, well, this is the way we need to do this and this is the way we need to do that. And my house ain't intact. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not finna tell the people that's inside my house to do this and to do that, and me myself personally ain't intact. You feel what I'm saying? So it's steps and it's levels and it's degrees to everything, you know. So and I break that down in my book, you know, The Resurrection. You know, I break down the degrees or the levels and the stages that ones go through when it comes down to activism. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know it, bro.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys, this is our visionary and our founder, Brother Kenneth Saad. And before we go, we out of time, but I'm not gonna leave without plugging in tomorrow's show live and straight out of Parchment, 8 o'clock, featuring Sarah, Sean, and KO. Y'all tuning in to the National Plus Coalition. I appreciate your brother Kenneth Saad, and I do want to bring you back maybe in a couple of more of my shows and some of my topics gonna touch on a lot of things you said tonight. So I'm gonna have to bring you back for a couple of my shows within this season. It was good having you guys. God bless you all. And it's plus. That's my time.